Phoenix. Let's find out if the three-way tiebreak's gonna happen. Potential drama, folks. In the top right corner, we have Sake, who is 0-3, but managed to pull a miracle 2-0 win against Squirtle, meaning that if he wins this game, he will be 2-0 versus Phoenix, and will have a three-way tiebreak. In the bottom left, we have the Peruvian Terra superstar Phoenix, who is currently 0-6. Gets taken early. I would pin Sake on a fast expand off of one gateway.
It doesn't look like he's going to go to versus Rose at all. He's just going to go to versus StarCraft as a gateway research. So he's playing really, really safe, actually. Is that a second gateway coming up there?
Yeah, it does indeed look like he's going for a second gate. It looks like Phoenix is going for some sort of very clever reactor into ultra-fast command center build. Once he ended up poking in there and scouting that there was a second gateway going down, he decided that it was time to next move.
Coming from Sake, and he's still not taking second guess, and going to his upgrade. So what I'm going to suggest is it might actually be a 4-gate.
Sake is the sort of player who
but not before actually gets all the information needed together.
I know if Sake doesn't push up here, he could kick off his SCV that's constructing the bunker, but Phoenix, it looks like he's going to be able to get it up in time. This 2-gate pressure from Sake does not appear to be a big success. There is the Nexus going down, however.
Yeah, I mean, it's not any game breaking yet, but Phoenix is already going to pull ahead with economy right now. It's a huge map, and it's going to be really hard to make any impression early on. So he's probably going to get the zero expansion quickly as well. But Soccer's gotten it right now, and maybe not.
He has an impressive amount of units for this phase of the game, especially off 2 warp gates. Again, a lot of players experimenting around with chrono boosting, upgrades, and units rather than pros. And now we see Sake's second gas going down. He's getting the pylon, and another push up to the front. Wow, Sake's getting real bold. Does manage to pick off some Marines and some SCVs, and did he only lose 1 Zealot?
That was actually really beautiful. He picked up 3 or 4 SCVs, very few Marines that barely lost anything.
That's actually very impressive. And one thing to note, look at this shield count recharging for the Protoss. Shields reheal very, very quickly, so that means that Sake can actually maintain huge amounts of pressure to his opponent. And look at his Twilight Council going down. I think he might actually be going for Dark Templar.
He might, yeah, he's probably going to do that, because look at it, he's already taken third and fourth. But actually, it might also be time to look at it, because he has so much gas really quickly that he might just skip Colossus and go for Templar directly.
And it looks like, oh no, the Nexus from Sake has a little bit of a loose rally point. All the probes are trying to get off the map, but you're not actually allowed to go to other maps and start actually got to stick on the one that was chosen. We do see 2 Stalkers there denying this is scouting SCV and zapping it down.
Another thing you need to know is Phoenix actually just scanned the main base of Sake and actually saw the Twilight counter, so he knows there's a possibility of Dark Templar coming in.
And it looks like, oh my gosh, Phoenix actually going to move forward for a big attack with concussive shells. Oh, that was a huge blunder right there by Phoenix. He could have picked off some of those retreating units, but now it looks like Sake is going to be in a lot of trouble if he wants to stay alive.
He does have a few sentries, so he can block off his ramp and split the units. But Phoenix does have CeBIT already research, making this fight very, very powerful.
Now this is a very dangerous situation. If Phoenix moves up and messes this attack up, that could be potentially game. If he moves up, it does a lot of damage, but oh, it looks like there's a small hole, and that is perfect. That's exactly what Sake wanted. He wanted to let some of those units up. He wanted to cut them in half and then get taken down with ease. Sake is in a much more comfortable position and is currently 10 feet ahead of his opponent.
Now that he actually builds an army of Phoenix and even destroys some SCVs, he's getting the confidence to enter Dark Shrine very, very much later than we actually expected, which is really, really clever, because now, I mean, Phoenix has seen the Dark Shrine for a long time, and he's also, but no DTs were coming in, so he's not counting on it anymore. Also, he's adding a War Prison, so he can even drop the Dark Templars.
It looks like Phoenix trying to poke around here, find that proxy pylon, but it's up here, silly Phoenix. He's going to send those Marauders up to the highlands to pick that off. Phoenix continuing to mass as much as he can. The starport is going to be given that reactor. Look at the gas count of Phoenix. Doesn't quite have enough to be able to pull that off yet. There's the War Prison going down right now. We see the Dark Shrine also getting pretty close to completed, and the real question is, what is the energy count going to be tiny, silly mistakes you ever make, and it's very, very hard to remember or to even notice them. And this rally point is the most classic of them all.
And there's still so many pros actually doing non-distance mining, and I'm not sure if that is intentional or not.
We see, this could be a huge confrontation there. Colossi starting to do work. There's some storms. Do not really do very much damage, but the speed zealots getting locked behind everything. There, the speed zealots starting to work their way, and some great storms going down. But Phoenix looks like he's actually putting up a hell of a fight. All the tanks in the front line are gone. That marauder count is just astoundingly high.
Yeah, imagine the additional units on the bottom fighting in the battle might have actually been enough to take on Phoenix completely.
But it looks like Sake's feeling quite confident. He's continuing to push. No, it looks like he's having some indecision with those units, and now he notices that there might be a missed rally point. Yes, he does. He finally manages to re-rally everything to one location. Again, a little bit of a stale situation, but Sake might soon take the bottom expansion.
Yeah, and actually this goes I would be very happy for that, not having to go to that other nexus all the time.
But this high ground drop action from Phoenix is very, very potent. And at the same time, the mules just landed, and there's some storms going down on Phoenix's expansion. Huge damage being dealt.
Every time there's 4 more marauders at the expansion of something, but they can't do a storm, so it's not as much.
That's true. Marauders with Storm would definitely be in patch 1.4. We do see that the Terran infantry upgrades are going down. Sake only sitting at 1-1. It looks like, no, be careful, no, Phoenix, oh no, Sake turn around, he's going to lose, and Colossus will lose too. That would be huge, and oh man, that was a huge win for Phoenix.
Yeah, it was completely unnecessary. I mean, okay, it's wrong to Colossus, but it is, as you said, in pressure situation like that you make mistakes you would never ever do in practice games.
We do see that orbital command for Phoenix going down on the left side of the map. So it started as a fairly passive type of defensive play, both players taking their second natural expansion no, he doesn't end up getting them off in enough time.
But I mean, still, Soccer is at as many bases as Phoenix actually is, and
it looks like there's a storm about to go off. There's finally a storm. That was so many years without a storm at that top left area. But he finally...
And there's a second Templar coming in. But no, Phoenix is gonna go away once again.
Phoenix has just been getting constantly stormed. Look at this 23 kill Archon. Warps happening in on both halves of the map. Zealot's now warping out for Sake. We see more Templar.
No,
gosh, these SCVs are so brave. There's a Templar right there. That's like, you know, smoking while swimming in a pool of gasoline. It's a little bit risky, I would say.
Yeah, but I mean, he just keeps on denying any mining as the expansion, and maybe that is even enough already to pull ahead a little bit. Look at how many gas Phoenix actually has. He has 2,000 spare gas.
And it looks like Sake, who's dead broke. Here come the Marauders. The whole army of Phoenix shows up, finally picking this off, but it is not going to be enough, because look at the bottom half of the map. We see that there's Templars starting to swing their way up, and there's a Storm managing to pick off one SCV, but any amount of damage really is enough, as Sake is drilling through the middle with a giant Force O-Doom.
Oh, he does. Phoenix doesn't have Vikings, he doesn't have Ghosts, he does not have any counter to the Mighty Colossus or the incredibly strong Templar, so I don't know what he can actually do against the main army of Sake.
If Sake wins this game here, we will have a three-way tiebreak in Group B. There's the Colossi swinging forward. Can he get any EMPs off? We see tanks, stim, a lot of tanks at the bottom right, but the Immortals are charging forward. They're beginning to shoot through them. Where did all these units come from for Phoenix? Sake, who could have had this be the final attack, is he going after a tree? He might, but he has only Colossus at this point. He's pulling back, and again, Phoenix manages to stay in this game.
But however, there was not a single Colossus. He actually died, so he might have lost his Warp Gate units, but it's easily replenishable because he has so many Warp Gates. You can just look at it. He's warping in 10 new units, and he's gonna make a second push very soon.
We see the Colossi moving through the center of the map and dropped by Phoenix at the bottom right. There really are not that many nearby pylons to be able to deal with it. Phoenix continuing with his harassment-heavy style, but Sake has great focus, manages to notice in time, but oh no, it looks like Sake will end up losing his bottom right expansion.
And Sake is actually in the main of Phoenix now. It's going to storm also bio units, I hope, actually.
No. Sake losing focus for the millionth time this game. He has missed so many storms. If he just throws down any of them at all, he'll be all right. But no, losing 4 full energy Templar. There's a push happening at the top with 2 probes as well.
But yeah, you have to think about it. I mean, Sake is making so many mistakes, but at least his macro is perfect. That's why he still has, actually, his execution of his unit production seems to be flawless.
And now we see Sake moving into the top left area at the same time that we see Phoenix moving down to the bottom right. This game has just hit the 33-minute mark. We see a whole bunch of extra red light Marauders trying to pop in there, but another series of amazing storms. Look at that, all those red light units. And here comes a huge push at the only really mining expansion for Phoenix.
Oh, huge misclick by Sake. He's actually just standing in his Colossus, but it's so many units. I don't know.
There's an EMP going down, and Immortal manages to lose a little bit of health, but there is Phoenix losing everything, and it looks like Sake might have been able to pull the miracle 2-0. Has he forced a 3-way tiebreak? He's forced the top left expansion to lift, and there's the good game. It's a 3-way tiebreak in Group B.
And I think he actually just made it even more interesting by making so many mistakes. He was like, I'm gonna make you cry.
Wow. Well, you know, Moon versus Moonblade, the 2 4-0 players, they have to play a game, but I just don't care, Daria.
No.
That is not as important to me as this 3-way tiebreak that we just had the delight of getting set up right here. I mean, that is a phenomenal lead, and I can't.
What an amazing comeback.
Yeah, that was incredible. I mean, look at Sake. Oh, man. Zhou's prayers have been answered. I would say that of all people, Zhou was the most tense during that game.
Indeed. And it looks like the foreigner scene is sticking together, and, you know, it's always like the world against Korea, because Korea is so good. Everybody's sticking together, and Soccer is bailing out his European brother.
You know, I hate to say it, but I'm sure almost everyone else in Korea was also rooting for Sake.
Yeah, maybe.
Everyone across the world loves drama. We have a 3-way tiebreak. Zhou, Squirtle, and Sake are now all 2 and 3 in their groups, and have the exact same amount of wins and losses in individual games. So that means we are forced to go into a three-way tiebreak.
But I'm not sure if it's going to be broadcasted, right?
Well, actually, I'm not the man behind the genius, but I would personally love to see those games cast. All right, good. We just got word that we are going to see those games broadcast, because that would be anticlimactic as all hell. If we were like, it's a three-way tiebreak.
Yeah.
We'll tell you what happened later.
It's going to be in the news.
All right, so now, Dario, what do you think is going to happen in this three-way tiebreak? What do you think everyone's odds are?
Let me think a second.
Well, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and think, but I'm going to do it out loud, because that's what they pay me to do.
That's true.
Now, here's what's interesting about this setup, is the fact that Sake is quite good at Protoss versus Protoss, as well as Protoss versus Terran. I really think that it's his Protoss versus Zerg that is probably his weakest, so he suddenly doesn't have to worry about that anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, Zhou, I think, is probably going to be the most confident player going into this, because he's finally getting a chance to really play his best again.
But what also would be awesome if, instead of us thinking, you can also post on Facebook and just state your own opinion about it.
That is true. You can get on there and just go, oh my gosh, and freak out, which is basically the same thing we're doing. I mean, even though I am a commentator, I am a fanboy at heart. You can even tell by the fact that I'm wearing my Protoss t-shirt.
Yeah, and I'm having my Zerg one. That's
right. Terrans, stay home. That's right. So there...
So we resolved the three-way tie, actually. Soccer can, no, but Zhou can go home.
That's right. Zhou is going to have a little bit of a struggle, because both his commentators are not wearing Terran t-shirts. Now, I think Squirtle's actually probably not as comfortable as the other two players.
No, probably not, because he actually didn't expect to go down like that anyways. He was probably quite confident, and then he lost so mmany games. Almost went out, and I mean, I think Soccer might be the most confident now, because he was the least confident in the first place, but now he showed I can actually do it.
Yeah, Sake went 0-3 at the start. That was pretty crazy to see that Sake was able to pull that back from 0-3 at the start, now going on to 2-3. So what we are going to do is going to take a little bit of a trip to the main stage to get an explanation of everything that will be going on.